If lack of confidence is really stopping you from becoming the leader that you know you can be and fulfilling your professional potential, I'm here to help. I'm Louise Thompson, a leadership and careers coach, and today I want to give you 3 tips on how to communicate more effectively at work. Communication is a huge part of feeling confident because it means you can be clear and assertive about what you want and why. So, when you figure out your own effective and authentic communication style, it feels amazing and it really transforms your confidence. Trust me. Confidence is such a huge topic for me. I coach so many people that really suffer from lack of confidence, and they are some of the most talented people in the world, but they are getting left behind in their careers because they don't believe in themselves. Today, I want to share with you 3 really effective tips. You can use these straight away in your role, and I promise you they'll make a difference. Tip number 1 is to stop apologizing, hedging your bets, caveating what you say, and instead just be really clear and direct and assertive. This can feel a little bit scary at first. I think, particularly for women, we are coded stereotypically to think of being assertive as being aggressive, but it's absolutely not the case. We have a duty to be clear as leaders so that we can serve our organization in the best possible way. So, what do I mean by stripping out all the caveats, all the apologies, all the hedging? This is what I mean. Have you ever raised your hand in a meeting and said, "This may sound like a stupid question, but," you can see in my body language, is apologizing for the question? That's exactly what I mean. How would it feel if instead of saying, "This may be a stupid question, but," you said instead, "I have an idea I'd like to share"? Feels pretty good, right? Immediately, you are leaning forward, you are more assertive, more confident. Here are some other examples. Instead of saying, "Sorry to bother you, but," say instead, "I'd like to discuss this with you, please." Instead of saying, "I'm no expert, but," instead say, "Here's my take on this." Instead of saying, "Am I making sense?" say instead, "Let me know if you have any thoughts or questions." How does that feel when you run those back in your head? Can you imagine yourself saying it in a much more assertive, clearer manner? And how much better that would feel. So, that is tip number 1. Stop apologizing for being where you are as a leader in your role and communicate like you mean it. Tip number 2 is to really think carefully about your body language and what it's portraying to others, especially if you are an aspiring leader in your role. So imagine we're in a meeting room and I'm sat at the edge of the room. I haven't got my chair kind of fully pulled around the table, and I'm kind of shrinking down in my seat, kind of looking down at my notepad, trying not to make eye contact with anybody. It's not very convincing, is it? And it's also not very credible. You want to own your space. You've earned your seat around that table, so start acting like it. Lean in. Don't be afraid to take up space. Use your eye contact with various people around the room. Connect with people when you're speaking to them. If you want to use your hands as I do, you can do that as well. That's a great way to help take up some space and help you feel more confident. So, really think about your body language and whether it is betraying you in your leadership role. Tip number 3 may sound counterintuitive, but I promise you it really works. Don't be afraid to take a pause. Take a beat when someone asks you a question. Leaving a pause and taking your time to answer can be really effective as a leadership strategy, and it shows that you are confident enough in your own abilities and your position to not rush in with an ill thought out answer or rush to fill a silence just because you feel uncomfortable, even if you don't know the answer. So if you are asked something in a meeting and you need a little bit more time, just say so. Just say, "That's a really good question. I'd appreciate another minute just to think that through so I can come back to you with a fully formed answer. Come back to me in a minute, please." That's all you need to do. I know it can take a little bit of courage to actually say that and do that in practice, but I promise it can be really transformative in terms of other people seeing your inner confidence at work. So those are 3 tips on how to communicate more effectively in the workplace. They are really practical, so I want you to go away, practice them. Let me know how it works for you. We are launching and starting with the Confident Leader Group coaching program on June the 18th. It's a pilot. It's the first time I'm running this, so it is less than half price at the moment, £399 for 10 weeks of coaching. It's pretty good. So if you are ready, and by that, I mean you are sick and tired of being overlooked in your career and being the most competent person in the room, but the least confident, and watching everyone around you who may not be as good at their job get promotions, get advancement opportunities, or have their voice heard purely because they have the confidence to go with those skills. Then it's time to act. So let me know if you've got any questions, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.